A day which began as a celebration of the resurrection of Christ is a very appropriate setting for a message about the benefits of resurrection power. John hears a voice behind him, and when he turns round he sees the angel, or the visible representative of Christ, which was promised in the first verse. John says, "I saw 7 golden lampstands, which will be identified as the 7 churches, or the sevenfold church, which is the church of God." He sees the figure of the angel of Christ standing at the very center of his community. It resembles the figure of the Son of Man in Daniel chapter 7, and also the figure of the Ancient of Days in the same chapter. From his mouth issued a sharp 2-edged sword. This points us towards the power of the word, which is sharper than a 2-edged sword, to discern the intentions of the heart. At the same time, we should not forget the words of the servant in Isaiah, who said, "He has made my mouth like a sharp sword." Isaiah is talking about the power of the word in dealing with the wicked and restoring God's people in righteousness. All these visual details are presenting the message that the person at the center of the church has the power to restore his people by overcoming the power of the oppressor. Then he laid his right hand upon me, saying, "Fear not." This assurance has echoes of Daniel chapter 10 and Ezekiel chapter 1. The more obvious and immediate meaning is, "Don't be afraid of me." But the deeper and more important meaning is, your community must not be afraid of anything else. This assurance depends on our knowing who the speaker is and what he can do. He also says, "Fear not, I am the first and the last and the living one." This echoes words found in Isaiah when he says, "Fear not, O Jacob my servant. I am the first and the last, besides me there is no God." He adds, "I died, and behold I am alive forevermore." But this figure who has just been quoting what God says about himself now identifies himself more clearly as Jesus Christ, who was raised from the dead. As the resurrected one, he holds the keys of death and Hades, which is about his ability to unlock the doors of death and let people out. It is the promise of resurrection life for the rest of us. So the key message of this chapter, and indeed the central message of Revelation as a whole, is this: I have the power of God, the resurrection power. So do not fear the power of sin. Do not fear the power of oppression. Do not fear the events which must take place in order to overcome the power of oppression. Fear not.